Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I welcome all of you to our class. And to set the objective, this session, this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. So we are in chapter 4th, Transcendental Knowledge, and we have finished the first four section of this chapter. The first section is about the lineage of transcendental knowledge, parampara, how it has moved, how it has come down. Then second section is the divine nature of Lord Krishna's appearance. The third section is on Krishna, the creator and culmination of path. And the fourth section is understanding karma on the platform of Gyan. Today, we'll be focusing on from Shlok on the next section, attaining Gyan through Yajna. What we have learned in the previous class is qualities of a practicing karma yogi. And we also read about the qualities of a perfect karma yogi. Nirashraya yat chitatma tyakta sava parigriha yad chala santushto dvandvatito motsara. And then we also read about yajna in spiritual consciousness leads to spiritual goal. This is what we have covered, and some of the shlokas that we have covered I would like to repeat here. So attaining Gyan through Yajna, and in the last section we talked about the last shlok that we talked about. It's a repetition again because very important for the next shlok that we will we'll be reading today. The 24th shlok talked about Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagno, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Ten Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. And here it is talking about Yajna, and as we all know, we all understand Yajna. For us, Yajna is basically the fire Yajna. The Yajna that we do is the fire sacrifice that we do is Yajna, right? That's what we know. And so if you think about the Yajna that we do, the fire sacrifice that we do, there are 5 components in that, of that Yajna. What are the 5 components? We have a performer, we have an instrument by which we offer something, we have something to offer, right? And then we have the fire in which we offer, and then after that there is some result because of which it happens, right? Whatever result you get out of after Yajna. So any Yajna has this 5 components, yeah. So the one that the instrument by which we offer, the laden that by which we offer is called Arpanam. It's a spiritual, so it's spiritual offering. Then what we offer, the ghee or the things that we offer is called oblation, spiritual oblation. The instrument is spiritual, the oblation is spiritual, the fire is nothing but the tongue of Lord Vishnu, that is spiritual. And then the person, the Brahmin who is actually performing the mantra and speaking is also spiritual. And because everything is spiritual, the result that we obtain, the purpose, the result that we get of this Yajna is also spiritual, right? Yeah. So this is a very important thing that we talked about, the 5 things, because this section that we're talking about, Yajna, various types of Yajna, we'll be comparing these 5 elements. Yeah. So these 5 elements. So for us, sacrifice, Yajna means fire sacrifice. But Krishna will now explain in this section what are the various types of Yajna actually that is performed. Yeah. So let us go to the Shlok 25. We have already covered it last time, but still I would like to revise it. It is Devameva pare yagyam yogina paripasate brahmagnava pare yagyam yagye naiva pajuhyate. Now juhyate means offer. Yeah. So now I'll take the first line of the shlok, which says Devameva pare yagyam yogina paripasate. Right. This is the first line that talks about the Yajna which is performed to Devi Devta. Yeah. Now, in this line, when we say the Yajna performed to Devi Devta, there are again 5 components of the Yajna. Yeah. Let us see what is the five components. So we we'll always compare with the 5 things that we compared in the fire Yajna. The first thing is the performer. Yeah. So the Yajna that we is doing for Devi Devta. Yeah. So who is the performer? The performer is a karma yogi. The performer is a karma yogi. What is he doing? What he is offering? When he's doing the Yajna, he's offering the material possessions that he has. Money, through money, he's buying something, and that is offering, right? Yeah. So the Karma Yogi is buying something, material possession that he has. That is the offering, that is the thing. Now, what is the oblation? the oblation is what we compared with the thing that we are offering, right? The ghee or something. So what is the karma yogi offering here? The oblation, it is here the rituals, the karma kand rituals. That is what he is doing. He's doing. And to whom he's doing? What is the fire? The fire is doing for Devi Devta. What whom is doing? He's doing for Devi Devta. And when we are doing with this consciousness, with the material possession, what is the purpose of the sacrifice? Why he's doing the sacrifice? He's doing the sacrifice to get material happiness. So when we start the yajna, we say, "No, okay, this happens, everything should be happy. We get more." So that is the yajna that we perform for Devi Devta. The karma yogi performs, and the process is karma kand. Yeah, the process is karma. So you would have heard like Rupam Dehi, Dhanam Dehi, Yasho Dehi. So we in this what we are doing, we are asking things for ourselves, for our happiness. Yeah, in this yajna that we are doing, the yajna that we do for Devi Devta as a karma kand. Now, when you are doing a yajna, any yajna you're doing, the consciousness is very important. Now, if the consciousness is you are offering something to get something in return, material possession in return, so what it is, then it becomes karma kand. It becomes a karmic ritual. Yeah. So that is the first line of the 25th shlok. Now the second line talks about Brahma Gnava Pare Yagyam Yagye Nevapu Yujivati. Now this talks about the Gyan Yogi. Who is the performer here? Who is the performer here? The Gyan Yogi. The performer is the Gyan Yogi. Now who is a Gyan Yogi? Gyan Yogi is who has understood. Now the Karma Yogi is at a bodily platform. He has not yet achieved the knowledge that body and soul are different. He has a body, he's working hard, he's getting material conception, material things, and he's offering that. And by doing that, he's purifying himself. He's purifying himself to get next level of knowledge. Right? Now, a Gyan Yogi has already understood that I'm not this body, I'm the soul. I'm the soul. And what he prays to? He prays to a Brahma Jyoti. He prays to the Brahma Jyoti. The Gyan Yogi prays to he is looking for the Brahma Jyoti, right? So who is the performer in the second case? Brahmagnav. Brahmagnav pare yagyam yagye nevo juhviti. What is the offering? So the performer is a Gyan Yogi. And what is the offering? He does Omkar. He's chanting the Omkar. And by chanting, what is the oblation that is offering? He's offering he wants to lose his identity. What does he want? He wants to lose his identity. And what he wants to merge with Brahma. So what is the fire? The fire is the Brahma. The fire is the Brahm. And what is the final sacrifice? Why he's doing the sacrifice? To merge himself, merge the soul to the Brahma. That is that is the yajna for a Gyan Yogi. That is a yajna for a Gyan Yogi, right? So we looked.
Gyan Yogi, the final outcome is merging with the Dhamma, and for the Karma Yogi, the final outcome is some sort of materialistic person.
Yeah. So Karma Yogi is still in bodily conception. He is earning, he's making money, and what he's doing, because as we have learned in third chapter also about, we have to do sacrifice as per the Vedas, as per his scripture, he's performing yajna, and with the bodily conception, he's getting in return happiness, material happiness. He gets money, he gets wealth, he gets more success. Whatever he's asking for, you get that. And when you get that, you perform more yajna, right? Now, a Gyan Yogi, he has moved forward. He understands the difference between the body and the soul, and he is now offering the soul to the Brahma, to himself to the himself to the Brahma. He is talking about merging. Yes.
Even a Karma Yogi can do Karma Yoga for the sake of doing Karma Yoga because God Vishnu says that.
Yes. With that is why he is doing it, because this is prescribed as our prescribed duty, and that's why we are doing it. And that is why I talked about consciousness is very important. Are you doing a consciousness with getting the wealth? Are you saying Rupam Dehi, Janam Dehi, Yasho Dehi? Are you talking about that? Or you are saying, give me the spiritual path. Help me to understand and move forward in the spiritual. So what consciousness you are doing is very, very important. Understood? Understood? Accordingly, the results will be offered, right? Now, that is about the 25th shlok. Clear? Yeah, so consciousness is important, right? Now in the 26th slok, we talked about Shrotra Dinindriyanya Sanyamagnishu Juhyati Shabda Din Vishayan Anya Indriyagnishu Juhyati. Now here he's talking about two things, a brahmacharya and a grihast. The brahmacharya and the grihast, right? So let's go to the first line, which says Shrotra Dini Indriyan Anye Sanyam Agnishu Juhyati. Shotra is hearing. Shotra is to hear. So he is hearing, and Indriya is senses. So what is doing? And Anyam is all other senses, but his senses of hearing, he is actually giving that. Sanyam is for control. Agni is fire. So now let's look at that. So who is the performer in this? It is a brahmachari. Yeah, it talks about the we know the various stages of Brahma of a varnashram system, right? Yeah, so the brahmachari, who is the performer? It is brahmachari. What is he doing? He is offering his sense of hearing. He is offering his sense of hearing. And what oblations? Senses. What is offering? He's offering his senses. And to do what? To control his mind, for mind control. And what will he get? What is the result he will get? He will gain transcendental knowledge. So what is the role of a brahmachari? Our first 25 years of life, as per our shastra, we are supposed to be hearing transcendental knowledge. And if you are a student, be focused on studies. All your senses should only be engaged in gaining transcendental knowledge or whatever is relevant knowledge from your subject. So basically it is a study. Yeah, and so our ears or our eyes should basically be given for learning something transcendental, so that we move forward as a brahmachari, right? And so you give your senses and achieve mind control, right? Now next is Shabda Adinya Vishayanya Anya Indriyagnishu Juhyati. Now it's talking about grihastha. Now Shabda, what is Shabd? Shabd is the sound. Shabd is sound, right? Now here is talking about Anavishya. It's talking about sense objects. So what does the grihastha do? What is he offering? He's offering the, so see, we have the senses. You are hearing, your sound is the sense object for your ears, right? Your sight, others is the object for your eyes, right? So as a grihastha, you have to control all your senses. It should be regulated. You have to control. You are married. As per this, you are grihastha, you are married. In your married life, all your senses should be regulated to the right sense objects, and that's how you control your mind. Not that you are married, now it's free, like, so if all your sense objects has to be regulated. So here, who is a performer? It is grihastha. And what is he offering? He's regulating his sense objects. In the oblation, again, is the senses. And what will happen by doing so? He will actually spiritually advance. Okay, yeah. And then we go to the next slok. From here we'll start today. Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyam yogagnau juhvati jnana deepate sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyam yogagnau juhvati jnana deepate. Vishnu. Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyam yogagnau juhvati jnana deepate. Now here it talks about Jnana Dipati, the one who wants to achieve self-realization. And here it talks about Ashtanga Yogi, right? The one. So it's a Patanjali yoga system. So let's read first the meaning. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of mind and senses, offer the function of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations
as oblations
into the fire of controlled mind.
into the fire of controlled mind.
Yeah. So this is about the Ashtanga Yogi. Yeah. So here what is happening? Sarvan Indriya Karmani. Sarvani is all Indriya, all senses, and the function Karmani is the function of the senses. Prana Karmani is not only the senses, but in Ashtanga Yogi also gives the breathing process, the breathing system, the breathing process. That also he also gives. And where does he give? For what? Atma Sanyam Yoga, for the control, for the control. He gives that, right? So here, as per Patanjali system, the soul, the soul are of two kinds. They are Prayagatma and Pratyangatma. They are two atmas. The atma, there are two types of atma as per that, which is Prayagatma and Pratyaga Atma. Now, Prayagatma is something, Paragatma is something which is when the soul is attached to the sense objects. When the soul is attached to the sense object, it is called Paragatma. And when the soul is detached to the sense object, it's called Pratyagatma. So we go to so what happens here? What are the five systems that's happening? Here, who is the performer? Performer is the Ashtanga Yogi. The Ashtanga Yogi. What is he offering? So the Patanjali system says there are 8 limbs of yoga that is offered. And what are they? It is yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So these are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So this is what is offered. And what is the oblations? Oblation is the functions of senses and the life breath. Both are offered. And where it is offered? Why it is offered to the controlled mind? So that what finally it wants to control mind. And by what is the purpose? What is the Ashtanga Yogi wants to achieve? Wants to achieve the Pratyag Atma. What is Pratyag Atma? It is detachment of the soul from sense enjoyment. That is what the Ashtanga Yogi wants. Yeah. So again, this is again a yagya for Ashtanga Yogi. So yagya is what we talked about, the fire yagya. Now here Krishna is explaining the different yagya which is done by different yogis. Okay. Now we go to the next slok. Dravya yagyastapo yagya. Yoga yagyastatha pare. Swadhyaya jnana yagyascha. Yataya sanshit prataha. Adaji.
Dravya yagnastapo yagna.
Dravya yagyastapo yagya.
Yagnastatha pare.
Yoga yagyastatha pare.
Swadhyaya jnana yagnascha.
Swadhyaya jnana yagyascha.
Yathaya samshita prataha.
Yataya sanshitvrata. Now, yataya sanshitvrata. Sanshitvrata is someone who he takes strict vows. Who takes strict vows? Who yataya? Yataya is an enlightened person. What are the vows he takes? Here, Krishna explains 4 types of vows. One is dravya yagya. Dravya means money. Many people give charity. What they do? Dravya yagya is giving charity. So philanthropic people, what they do? They give lot of money for what? For building hospitals, for building anathalaya, for building dhamshala, right? They are actually offering their own hard-earned money to do that, right? So if you have to compare the 5 parts here, so who it is? So who is the person who is performing? It is the one who is doing it. It's called Dravya Yagyaha. The philanthropic person is called Dravya Yagyaha. So he's a performer. And what is he giving? He's actually offering the welfare work. He's doing the welfare work. By what? What is the oblations he's giving? The money, hard-earned money that he has earned. Right? That is what that's what he's using. And what is the fire? In which way he's doing? It's doing for the welfare of all living beings, right? And what will he gain out of it? What is the result of it? He will gain punya. He will gain punya. Huh? He is still bound in the cycle of birth and death, right? Then we go to tapo yagya. The second part that Krishna explains here is tapo mai yagya. Tapo yagya, tap means austerities. Tap means austerities. So we perform lot of vratas, right? We perform lot of vrata. And why do we do those vrata? So that I mean, again, the consciousness is important, but vrata is normally done to achieve a higher planet. to move forward spiritually to achieve higher planets, right? So here what the performer is a tapo yagyaha, yagyahi, that is a person. Now what is he giving at that time? His own energy, body energy, right? When you're doing the tap, you are giving your energy. And what is the oblation? Oblation is body. And what is the fire? You're actually following the instruction from the shastras. You're doing that. And what is the result that you will get? You will get higher planets, better life, right? That's what will happen. Then we talk about next one is yagyo. That's the same thing as Ashtanga Yogi, the 5 parts that we talked about. And the last part talks about Swadhyaya Yagya, right? Swadhyaya Gyan Yagya. Swadhyaya Gyan Yagya. Swadhyaya means reading on your own, right? Gyan Yagya, they talked about the Vedic scriptures. So here what is doing, what the person, the performer is the Swadhyaya Yagya. The person who is actually reading it is the Yagi. He's a Swadhyaya Yagi. And what is he doing? He is offering his mind and intelligence. He is offering his mind and intelligence to learn scriptures. What is the oblation? To learn scriptures. And to which fire? To the Vedic knowledge. He's gaining the Vedic knowledge. And what will he achieve? He'll achieve the transcendental knowledge, and then he'll move forward in the spiritual path. That's what he will get, right? So we talked about Dravya Yagyas, Tapo Yagya, Yoga Yagyas, Tatha Pare, Swadhyaya Gyan Yagyascha, Yataya Sanchitrata, right? Now let's read the meaning of it. Having accepted strict vows, some became enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So all these are also yagya. These are also yagya, right? Then we go to the last stroke in this section. Apane jivati pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapana gati rudva, pranayama parayanaha, apreniyatahara, pranan praneshu juhyati. Again, apane juhyati pranam, prane apanam tatha pare, pranapanagati rudhva, pranayama parayana, apreniyatahara, pranan praneshu juhyati. So this yagya is a pranayam yagya. This yagya is a pranayam yagya. So what happens here? We have various types. So there are 10 types of airs that we have. And here it's talking about 2 airs, the apana air and the prana air. The prana air is the one that moves outward, and apana air is that moves downwards. Right? So what happens? And here we talk about 3. So what is it? It's a apana juhvati. Juhvati is offering. Apana juhvati prana. So the air which is going downwards merges with the prana, the upward air, and the prana pano tatha pare. And similarly, the upward air merges with the lower air, right? And then what happens? So this whole process is the pranayam process, where what we do, we do again inhalation. We do a prolonged inhalation, and we stop. When we control our breath, it's called kumbhak. Kumbhaka. It's called kumbhaka. And then we also, when we are inhaling, then what we are doing actually, the prana air, we are actually merging it with the apana air, and then we stop it, that is kumbhaka. And when we are doing a prolonged exhalation, the downward air meets the upward air, comes down, right? So this again, through the various process of pranayam, you're trying to control your senses and mind. That is again a process of controlling your senses and mind. So let's read the yourself.
Apane juhvati pranam.
Apane juhvati pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapanagati rudhva, Pranayama Parayana. Apare niyatahara. Pranarpaneshu juhyati. Still others
Still others
who are inclined to the process of breath restraint,
who are inclined to the process of breath
to
restraint,
remain in trance,
to remain in trance,
practice
practice
by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming
by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming,
and the incoming breath into the outgoing,
and the incoming breath into the outgoing,
and thus at last
and thus at last
remain in trance,
remain in trance,
stopping all breathing.
stopping all breathing.
Others,
Others,
curtailing the eating process,
curtailing the eating process,
offer the outgoing breath
offer the outgoing breath
into itself
into itself
as a sacrifice,
as a sacrifice.
right? So now Krishna explained that it is not only the fire sacrifice we talked about, but there are various types of sacrifices that we have learned till now, right? So the next section, which is from 30 to 33, talks about purpose of sacrifice. Why we have so many sacrifices that we talked about, and what is the purpose of these sacrifices, right? So let's go to the next shlok number 30. Sarvepyate yagyavido
Sarve yate yajnavido
yagya kshapit kalmashaha
yajna shapit kalmashaha
yagya shishtamrita bhujo
yajnashtamrita bhujo
yanti brahma sanatanam.
yanti brahma sanatanam.
Sarve payete yagyavido
Sarve yate yajnavido
yagya kshapit kalmashaha
yajna shapit kalmashaha
yagya shishtamrita bhujo
yajna shapit
yanti brahma sanatanah.
yanti brahma sanatanam.
So question is, why do we have all these different yoga system? Ashtanga yoga. So we have different type of people, yeah, and everyone are different. There's no two people same, right? They have a different mentality. They like different things. So depending upon their nature, they will go with a particular type of yoga. So there are various type of methods of yoga available for. Based on your nature, you will go and choose one of type. Sometimes you see some people, they believe in more charity. They'll go and give charity, and they will. But if you are giving charity and you are not actually growing up in your spiritual path, then you have to rethink. But yeah, some people go to give more charity and move forward in their life, right? Yeah. So some people, what they do, they go for a lot of vrat. They think that probably that is the right way to do, because that's the inclination they have. That is their mentality. They'll go for that, right? And then some people, what they do, they believe in the knowledge. They'll go and do a lot of reading. By reading, they want to. Some people wants to do it by your breath control, right? So different mechanism, because of different people, because of different nature, there are different varieties of yajna which Krishna talks about, right? But what is the common aim among all this? What we saw, the common thing?
Supreme power.
Yes, finally to attain the supreme power. But immediate, if you see, the first part is purification. How will you get purification? By your sense control. So everything is for, the more you practice it, the more you will have your sense control. When your senses are controlled, your mind will be controlled. And when your mind will be controlled, you will be at peace and will be able to move forward to the next step, right? So most of the thing, everything that we do, our first focus is for the sense control. Yeah. Now, as you rightly said, what is the primary goal? And here the Krishna says, Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. What does Krishna says? Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Yanti matlab, it means to advance. Brahma means spiritual. Brahma and Sanatan is eternal spiritual platform. So what is happening? To advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. We are doing this by different process of yajna. It is being done so that we can advance towards the spiritual transcendental realm, right? We move towards the transcendental realm. We move to the spiritual realm. So here, if you see the second line, Yanti Brahma Sanatana, and that's why that is a primary goal of the yagya. But what happens with the primary goal? We also get yagya shishtamrita bhujo. Yagya shishta means the remnants of the yag is also an amrit. The primary goal is to move forward in the transcendental, to reach the spiritual region, but you also get the secondary goal. For example, someone who is a karma yogi is also when he's doing a lot of yagya, although he's moving forward, purifying himself, learning sense control, moving forward, but at the same time, he will also get a lot of material benefits, lot of wealth. Yeah, so both will happen. Similarly, when you look at a Ashtang yogi, yeah, who is a dhyan yogi and doing the yam, niyam, pranayam and other thing, what will happen? Along with that, along with the primary goal of moving forward towards transcendental, towards the spiritual realm, what will happen? He will also get lot of siddhis. The Ashtang yogi, they can get siddhis, like they can become extremely small, they can become extremely big, they can walk on, they can eat fire, they can walk on water, right? So all these are the secondary siddhis they will get out of the, because it is not that do it for 10 days and you would get it. It's for years and years and years of practice. You start getting a lot of other siddhis. Yeah, you can fly, you can. So all these are the siddhis that you get being an doing an Ashtanga yogi, right? So you get that. But remember, these different whatever we achieve, the different yogis that we talked about, even when we reach the spiritual realm, there are different phases for it, right? For a Gyan yogi, he is looking for Brahma Jyoti. So he will achieve till Brahma Jyoti. Whereas the other one, the Ashtang yogi moves forward. He understands that super soul is inside one, right? So similarly, there's a different phases also in the spiritual realm. Based on your yagya, you will also reach till there, right? We go to the next slok. Nayam lokastya yagyasya kutoyam kuru sattama. Nayam lokastya yagyasya kutonya kuru sattama. Nayam lokastya yagyasya kutonya kuru sattama. So here Kuru Sattama is the best of the Kurus, which is Arjun. So Krishna is telling to Arjun, "O best of the Kuru dynasty, Nayam Loko, without sacrifice, one can never live happily. Neither on this planet, in this life, then what about the next?" What does Krishna says? That if you are not performing yagya, what will happen? You cannot live happily in this life. Then what about the next? So let's read the English translation. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So what is the sources of happiness? Why when we take this birth, why are we happy? Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are distressed, right? So why do you think that we are happy? What makes us happy, or because of what reasons gives us happiness? It is the punya that we have achieved in our past life, right? The punya that we have achieved, yeah, the pious activity, the pious account that we have in our bank account, because of which we get happiness in this life, right? And the sins that we have performed, because of it, we have another account of papa account, impious account. So the distress we go through in our life is because of, yeah. And then when we are doing this yagya, what happens? We try to come out of this dualities of happiness and distress. We have to come out of that, right? We try to come out of that. So now let us look at why do we do sins? Why do we do sins? It is because of our ignorance. Because we don't know, when we come in this body form, we are not aware. We are coming with some of our karmic reactions. We are coming with our some karma, we are coming with that. We are not aware, and because of our ignorance, we do sin. And when do we do sin, what will happen? We get reactions of it, which will bound us to this cycle of birth and death. The only way to come out of it is, and in this material world, the only way to exit this material world is also in the human form of life. In no other form of life you can actually come out of this material world. If you are doing lot of punya, you will actually get elevated to the Swargaloka. If you have done lot of philanthropic activity, you have gained lot of punya, pious activity, you'll get elevated to your Swargaloka. And then what will happen? Once your bank account is done, then you come back to earth, right? Again, you do your duty, and you know, you actually build your bank balance of your pious and impious activities, right? And this is how we are stuck in this material world, right? By the cycle. And the only way to come out is by the human form of life. Now, what happens when in this human form of life? What Krishna did, what we read it in 3rd chapter, that Krishna, when we wanted to come away from him to this material world, along with us, what he did? He sent us Vedas. What did he do? He along with us, he is the father of all human beings. What he did? All living entity, along with us, because he knew that we want to be away from him. But just as like all fathers, they take care of the kids, he also took care of us. He gave us Vedas. Now and Vedas tells us some route of escape. What are the 4 things? Vedas explains the path of religion. It talks about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These are the 4 things that Vedas teach. Now, when we do dharma, when we are doing all this dharmic activity, the religion like dharma, the yajna and all we are doing, what's happening? We'll achieve artha. Artha is money. We'll get material pleasures. Now, when we get artha, what do we next want? We want calm. We want to enjoy it. And when we want to enjoy, Krishna says, do it in regulated manner. And when you do that, when you're tired of your, you will, because of your, if you're doing it in a regulated way, following the Vedas, automatically you will move towards moksha. Yeah. And this, it will take you towards more. That's how our varnashram system has been formed, and this is what is done. And if you remember in the 3rd chapter, we did the cycle of sacrifice. The cycle of sacrifice talked about that when all living beings were actually brought here, then all living beings, it talked about, they depend upon food grains. All of us depends upon food grains. And the food grains comes from rain. It comes from rain. If there's no rain, we won't get the food grains. The food grains come from rain. And the rain comes from yajna. The rain comes from yajna. And the yajna, it's written that it's a prescribed duty for us. When we are born, we have to, that's what Krishna did. He was sent along with us. He sent the Vedas. And where is this written that we should do yajna? It is written in Vedas. And who has created Vedas? It is from Supreme Lord. And that's why whatever we do, we have to offer to the Supreme Lord. And if we don't do that, what Krishna said in the 3rd chapter, he said, if you're not doing that, then you are a thief. What are you? If you are not doing that properly, then what is happening? You are nothing but a thief. Yeah. Now, in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that we'll be reading later, there is one shlok. You can take that out. 15.15, 15.15, 15th chapter, 15th shlok.
637 page.
Yeah. So I'll read that. Sarvasya chahamedi sannavishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vidivya chaham sarvasya chaham hidi sannavishto mattah smritir jnana apohanam cha vedaishcha sarvairaham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva chaham.
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो
Sarvasya chaham hidi sannavishto
मतस्मृतिर्ज्ञानम् अपोहनं चाह
mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedaisha sarve aham veda vidyo Vedanta krit veda videva chaham. So Krishna says in the 15th chapter, Sarvasya chaham hidi sannavishto. I am seated in everyone's heart. Krishna says in the 15th chapter, 15th shlok, Sarvasya chaham hidi sannavishto. I am seated in everyone's heart. Mattah, from me, smritir jnana apohanam cha, comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. From me comes remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedyo. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedant Krit. I am the compiler of Vedanta. Ved Vidam Chaham. And I am the knower of the Vedants. So what Krishna says is, so he talks about in the 4th chapter, this is the advanced chapter where we are in the 15th chapter now. In the 4th chapter, he says, you read Vedas has give that. So finally, when we read Vedas, when we complete that, what are you supposed to know? Krishna. We are supposed to know Krishna. We are supposed to know what is the ultimate knowledge that you will get when you read Vedas. So what he says, Vedaisya sarve aham eva vedyo. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. That is the sar of the Veda. That is the summary of the Vedas. Understood? So what we are supposed to know? Krishna. That is the final thing that we will come to know when we read the Vedas. And Vedanta Krit. I am the compiler of Vedanta. And Ved Vidam Chaham, and I am the knower of the Vedas, and I am seated in everyone's heart. So when you are a Dhyan Yogi or Ashtanga Yogi, you are actually the Param, what do you call it, Paramatma that you are looking at. He's again Krishna seated in everyone's heart. Understood? So that's something which is important to know, because we are talking about Vedas. Finally, what we will know is again Krishna. Now let's go to the 32nd shlok. Evam bahuvidha yagya vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhi tan sarvan evam gyatva vimokshase evam bahuvidha yagya vitata brahmano mukhe कर्मजान विधि तान सर्वान ज्ञात्वा विमोक्षसे एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्षसे
एवं बहुविधाय ज्ञान
विदिता ब्रह्मणो मुखे
कर्मजान विधितान
सर्वान
एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्षसे
So let's read the English of this. All these different type of sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will be liberated. So again, the same question, that why there are different types of yajna? Because there are different type of people of different nature. The question is, why do people have different nature? Yes, very good. And their karma. Their karma, which is coming from the previous thing, right? So last time in the section 23, I talked a lot about karma, akarma, and vikarma, right? We talked about the three types of activities: karma, vikarma, and akarma. And we talked about how that influences our happiness and how it bounds us in the life. So today, since we talked about the nature of a person, I'll talk a bit more about that. We say that, okay, we have done the karma, as we said. Now, why is our nature like that? Because of our karma and the modes of material nature we are in, right? So is it that, if it's because of karma, we have done the karma, is it everything is already prescribed? Then what are we doing now? If it's because of karma, it means everything is already destined.
Yes.
Yes. How many people thinks it's all destined? Because it's a very common question. People say in Gita, it says that everything is because the karma, that the past deeds that you have done. It means everything is already written here, right? If it is so, then what are we doing? Then it means everything is written. Then what next? Do we have an influence on it? Can we change it?
Yeah, we have choices. Even though we come with our own baggage of karma from our past lives, still in the current life we have a choice to choose between things within this certain, and we can take our better part in life.
Absolutely, very good. That is the answer to it. So there's something called free will.
Mhm.
So although the destiny, what is like, because of the karma, we get into a situation, yeah, but then we have a free will to choose what we want to do next. It's more like video games that we play. It's more like a video games that we play, and go from one level to another level, right? So what happens when you have to you're finishing the first level and you come to an end? There are two paths to you. One path may kill you, or second path may lead to the next level 3, right? It's the same thing. You have a free will, and that free will is with you. So what happens? So let's talk a bit more about karma. So what happens? There are some terms I would like to tell about that. Sanchit karma and prarabdha karma. Sanchit karma means it is the sum total of all past karmic reactions that we have. It's called sanchit karma. Now some of the karmas, and prarabdha karma is out of that sanchit karma that we have, how many of that will get fructified in this lifetime? Prarabdha karma is only that part of the karma which will get fructified in this lifetime. There are more karmas that is waiting for the next lifetime. I told about that story of a hunter who actually killed 100 birds, and after 50 lifetime, what happened? His 100 sons got killed. Who was he? Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra, 50 lifetime before, he had actually killed 100 birds in front of their parents. And what happened? After 50 lifetime, he got 100 sons, and they were killed in when he was alive, right? Why? The question is, why did it take 50 lifetime for him to get this karma, get this reaction? Because he took that 50 lifetime to get the pious activity of getting a son. So all of that 50 lifetime, he actually did the pious activity so that after 50th lifetime, he could get 100 sons who could get killed at that point of time. So prarabdha karma, out of the sanchit karma that we have, prarabdha karma is that karma which we are going to experience in this lifetime. So sometimes we think, oh, why this person is so rich? Why this person is so poor? Why this person has got this problem? Right? All these things comes to our mind, right? Why I'm so, I have now, this person has so much happiness, or this person has so much distress. It is all because of the karmas that we have gone through, and that's what we see. The answer is there, right? So we say destiny of our present life is simply our prarabdha karma. And when we say a very famous quote, man is the maker of his own destiny, it's because of this follow. Now the question is everything destined, or we have, so as Shil said, destiny is there. Destiny will bring you to that place, but then it is your free will in that lifetime that will make the decision for your next karma. Now this free will that you have, and the decision you will make will depend on few things. As Vaishnavi said, it will depend upon the modes of material nature, in which mode of material nature you are in, right? And how will that define? It defines by your association. In what association you are in. Yeah, your free will and although you will have an impact of your past lifetime karmas, but your decision will very much define on the association of people you are in, the food that you eat, the place where you live, Yeah. So all these are the factors which will influence your free will decision of your free will, and based on that you will take a decision which will become the for that action reaction will come. Understood? Are you getting that? Huh? So the response depends upon our association, although it's influenced by your past deeds, because your association also will somehow depend upon that. So we should try to develop good association. We should always try to ensure that we are in good association. We are with people who are having positive attitude and who is helping us to grow in a positive way, right? So destiny is the product of the use or misuse of our own free will. We have no one to blame but ourselves for our suffering, right? It's something like a person who is standing at the top of the mountain, right? Now, and he wants to fall. He or she wants to fall. He has the free will, the choice to decide to fall or not to fall. That decision is there with him. He has that free will to decide. Now, as soon as the decision is taken, I'm going to jump. If the decision is taken, then the reaction is written. If it's jump, and if he decides not to jump, reaction is written, right? So once you have taken the action, reactions are done. Then that cannot be unturned. Understood? Clear? So we go to the last slok of this chapter, this section. Shreyan Dravyamayadyagyaj Jnana Yajna Parantapah Sarvam Karmakhilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Shreyan Dravyamayadyagyaj Jnana Yajna Parantapah Sarvam Karmakhilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Mataji. Shreyan Dravyamayadyagyaj Jnana Yajna Parantapah
Sarvam karma khilam partha
Jnane Parisamapyate. So here Krishna says that the purpose of all the sacrifice that we make is to gain transcendental knowledge, to come to the spiritual realm and gain transcendental knowledge. So let's read the meaning of it. O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So he says that better than, like when he talked about two yajna, dravya yajna and jnana yajna. Jnana yajna is much better than dravya yajna, means the giving charity. Say it's much better to do a yajna in knowledge, where you know, so that you can actually move forward better in the transcendental spiritual path and gain transcendental knowledge, right? And then the next slok talks about what is the culmination of transcendental knowledge, which is from the 7th chapter of Gita. We go to the 19th slok, 7th chapter, 19th slok. So we talked about by the yajna, by the sacrifice that we perform, we will actually gain transcendental knowledge, right? So let's go to the 7th chapter, 19th slok. Open your Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanamam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavanamam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Bahunam Janmanamante
prapadyate.
Jnanavanamam prapadyante.
Vasudeva sarvamiti.
Vasudeva sarvamiti.
Samahatma sudurlabha.
Samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths,
After many births and deaths,
he who is actually in knowledge
he who is actually in knowledge
surrenders unto me,
surrenders unto me,
knowing me
knowing me
to be the cause of all causes
to be the cause of all causes
and all that is.
and all that is.
Such a great soul
Such a great soul
is very rare.
is very rare.
So we talked about Karma Yogi, we talked about Jnana Yogi, we talked about Dhyana Yogi or Ashtanga Yogi, and we talked about that when by all these processes, what's happening? They are moving from the material world to the spiritual realm. And then that is in the spiritual realm, there is a beginning phase where you go to the Brahma, a Jnana Yogi goes and merges with the Brahma Jyoti but then when you reach the transcendental realm, when you reach the spiritual realm, after many births, after many births, after doing many spiritual thing, someone with what is the highest transcendental knowledge? That Vasudevam Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Then you realize not that any yogi or any jnani will know about it. When you have done lots of spiritual realization, then what happens? You come to the platform where you can understand Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Krishna is everything. That is the highest transcendental knowledge. Yeah. So it's now the different yags we have. It's very simple. Yes, we cannot do all this yagya every day. What we can always do every day is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So do this Mahamantra yagya every day, because it is said by all these processes, we move slowly. Vedas we read, we move slowly one by one. But the yagya, to come into this realization that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, it is only a mercy of a devotee or Krishna that you get into that company, that you get that realization that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. It is only by the mercy of a devotee or a mercy of Krishna that you get into that company, that you get into that, you get into that association where you get that knowledge that Vasudevam, someone can tell you that Vasudevam Sarvamiti. So you always have a choice to follow all these paths and spend various lifetime, because we don't know next life where we will start and what will happen to me, right? So we can do that. And after many, what is it? After many births and deaths, repeat after me. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge
He who is actually in knowledge
surrenders unto me,
surrenders unto me,
knowing me to be the cause of all causes
knowing me to be the cause of all
and
causes
all that is.
and all that is.
Such a great soul is very rare.
Such a great soul is very
So
rare.
it is a choice that we have. Hare Krishna. With this, we'll end the class today. Let us chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 3 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna.